of Cuba by Arturo Kirkconnell and Orlando Garrido. And Orlando was Arturo's boss. And there you go. I'm getting an interrupting call. Okie dokie here. So wait just a few more minutes here and we'll start up. You get the name of that book? Yeah, so that's the Field Guide to the Birds of Cuba by Garrido and Kirkconnell. Arturo, I'm getting a call from you. Is that what I want?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm just staying on my call for the call. Okie doke. Well, I'm just going to start the introduction, and then we'll go into this thing. So I'm Charles Thornton Colby. I'm the executive partner of the Partnership for International Birding. I'm going to take about 4 minutes to do the introduction to the call, and hopefully we'll have some other people join here. I used to be a management consultant, so I facilitate 8 groups of 150 people. I'm pretty sure I can handle the group of 14 today. But, you know, we do have some ground rules, and that's that you text your questions. And then as we go forward with the call, we will get through everybody's questions as we go through the process today. And we are going to start with about a 10 or 20 minute presentation by Arturo on birds of Cuba, which is pretty brief and pretty quick, but he'll get through it, and then we'll open the floor for questions. But feel free to ask questions throughout and just text away. There's a couple things about the Partnership for International Birding, so people are aware of it. We always recruit premier local bird guides. In Cuba, for example, we recruited Arturo Kirkconnell, who wrote Field Guide to the Birds of Cuba. We always make sure our guides have good English speaking skills, and I think you'll see that today on the phone call. But most importantly, so order that key expertise in bird finding that people need to find the birds. Because we're not flying guides from around the world, our prices are often 20% less than our competition. Our partnerships also sort of lead to a logistical expertise, which generally means our quality of lodging is meets a birding tour really well. We also saved an acre for bird conservation on all of our tours over the last 15 years, and so far we've saved 85,000 acres. And then just a brief thing on COVID, because obviously it's a concern for a lot of people. On all of our tours, as we move forward here, about 100 days before the tour, we just want to make sure everybody feels COVID safe before they get on a plane. And of course, get together in a van with 8 strangers. So, 100 days before the tour, we're going to have a discussion, making sure we have a COVID solution in hand, hopefully a vaccine. In some cases, just like a reduction in cases, like in New Zealand. And as Arturo mentioned, the Cuba caseload has been pretty light. And there we go. Let's see here. Let's see, I think I covered that. Arturo wanted me to mention that we are recording the call today. If that's a problem for anybody, just give a thumbs down or let us know afterwards, and we won't mention anybody's personal identification information. All right, so now just a little bit on Arturo Kirkconnell. I've known Arturo Kirkconnell that's the guy in the blue shirt. You can step closer to the camera if you want, Arturo. I've known Arturo for 5 years, ever since President Obama made Cuba travel easier. We've done nearly 40 birding tours together over the last 5 years, using a variety of guides, but mostly Arturo, but also Alejandro and Luis. Arturo is a native of Cuba, and he is recognized by most bird watchers as the leading authority on Cuban birds. He's the co-author of 2 books on the birds of a field guide to the birds of Cuba, and also a birdwatcher's guide to Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, and the Caymans. He truly loves birding, and birding is his passion, and you'll see that as we go through this. He's written over 77 scientific papers focused on Cuba and Caribbean ornithology. As part of the Cuban Natural History Museum's efforts to collect ornithological data, over the last 2 decades, he's run 200 birding tours. And beyond just everybody loving Arturo's excellent bird finding skills, he truly just takes great care of customers, which I always appreciate, and so do our clients as well. With no further ado, Arturo Kirkconnell.
Hi, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be in touch with all of you, and then I'll give a talk about Cuban birds and some birding area, but mostly focus in Zapata area, where I think the Zapata area is the most important birding site in the whole island. So Zapata Peninsula, it's is the biggest wetland in the whole West Indies. And by the way, it's the area with more diversity of habitats. That's why also we have there the biggest diversity of birds. So here you can see on the map the Zapata Peninsula. That is this big piece of land with the shape of a shoes or a boot. So that area is, I was telling you, the most important birding area in the whole island, where about 24 endemics could be found there of all the Cuban endemics. So here we have the Cuban trogon. Is our Cuban national bird that is wide distributed through all the island. Very easy to be spotted, and it's a common bird. And you here, for example, we have in total in Cuba, it has been recorded 383 species of bird, but in Zapata area, you could see about 260, all right? One of the icons, Cuban icon of birds, it's the blue-headed quail dove. That is also wide distributed, although it's very local in the wide distribution, it's very localized in several areas. The most important area of this species is Zapata Swamp and Guanacavives Peninsula. Both areas is one of the 28 ABA areas we have. IBA, sorry. And gray-fronted quail dove is the other endemic quail dove we have, also wide distributed, but the most important area for this bird is Zapata Swamp or Zapata Peninsula. I was telling you before, it's a very extremely important area for the protection of the Cuban endemic birds, because in this area you find the biggest population of some of those threatened bird species is found there. So this is the Zapata wren. The Zapata wren, it's only found in Zapata area. So if you want to see this unique species, you have to go there. You have no choice of you have to go there. if you want to see this species. It's located in the western section of the Zapata Peninsula. And the population is small. It's no more than 500 pairs has been estimated. But anyway, in that area, it is not being well explored, hasn't been conducted a good survey to really determine with more accurate data how many birds are there, because it's very remote. Those that have been there already, they know how remote is the swamp or is the sawgrass habitat. This is another relict species we have. This is Zapata Sparrow. Zapata Sparrow is in Zapata, but also is in Cayo Coco and Guantanamo. So 3 small population, away one from the other, about 600 kilometers. And there are 3 distinct subspecies. One in Zapata, the one in Cayo Coco, and the one in Guantanamo. The most beautiful one is the one from Zapata. The bare-legged owl, that in the book appear like Cuban screech owl. Bare-legged owl is another endemic genus that it's found in the whole island, and is a nocturnal owl. So we have 2 endemics: Cuban pygmy, bare-legged. Cuban pygmy is diurnal and nocturnal, and bare-legged is just nocturnal owl. And a beautiful one. Here we have Cuban pygmy owl that is very common through all the island, and it's very, I would say, it's localized. It's vocalized commonly during the day, and very easy to be observed. Likes to nest in pond cavities, and in Zapata is where it's found the biggest population, I would say, of Cuban pygmy owl in the whole island. The Cuban green woodpecker is another unique woodpecker, a very ancient woodpecker, and is another endemic genus, and seems to be related with the yellow-bellied sapsucker, and also with the melanerpes. So it's in a branch among these 2 woodpeckers, and it's also widespread, distributed through all the island, easy to see along the tour. The Fernandino flicker is also very unique. The only flicker you'll see is all totally barred, no red at all on head, and it hasn't any white on rump either. So that's very unique. It's also, the Cuban population is very ancient, and and it seems to be related with South American flickers, these species of Cuba. So we have only one endemic family of birds, that is Teretistrides. And Teretistrides, it's we have 2 species, one in the east and one in the west. Here is the western one, is yellow-headed warbler. And here we have the bee hummingbird. The bee hummingbird is very unique hummingbird. It's the smallest bird in the world. The weight is about 1.6 gram. The male from 1.6 to 1.8, and the female 1.8 to 2.4 grams. So it's widespread throughout the island, although he's been declining, I would say, lately. It's related with the habitat destruction. So now it's mostly found in Zapata area, in the western section of the island, in Guanacabibes, and in the mountain range of eastern Cuba. in what is called now, for example, the area is protected and it's called Humboldt Park. So that's this big hummingbird I was telling you in Zapata, for example, is very easy to get. There is a backyard of a friend of us who you could see easily there between 8 to 12 hummingbirds flying over the flowers there and he has in the backyard. It's the speed, to give you some information, the speed of the wing beats is about is between 70 to 82 wing beats per second. So that data hasn't been published yet. So it's new information I'm providing you. And as you know, in this family, the nest is built by the female, and she's the only one that incubates the eggs. So the male, in this case, has not any participation in the incubation or feeding of the youngs. So if you want to see this bird, you have to go to Cuba. You have no choice. You have to visit Zapata, and you really enjoy it. Here we have the Cuban. My favorite Cuban bird is the Cuban toddy. Very colorful bird. It's an endemic family in the West Indies, where there are, as you know, 5 species. But in Cuba, I bet, I'm sure, is the most beautiful one. That's why it's called Toes multicolor. This bird seems to be related with the mudmots. So probably the closest living, well, in the continent forms, the different taxes in the continent, probably the closest one is the toddy mudmot to the family in the West Indies, as only now relict in the Greatest Antilles. So I was telling you, this, for example, this is a cavity nester. It used to build, both species participate in the construction of the nest. There is a kind of tunnel with a chamber at the end of the tunnel that has about 30 centimeters long. And it's during the incubation, during the construction of the nest, is the female who decide which is the site that the male wants to start to build the nest, the cavity. So as usual, female has the last word. So they are the one who decide where they want to live. So this is a bird. You will really enjoy it if you go to Cuba. That's very unique. Oh, this is very interesting. This is the red-shouldered blackbird. The red-shouldered blackbird, it is closely related to the redwing. This bird, it's a threatened bird in Cuba. It's the most important area to find it is in Zapata Peninsula and in Guanacavives area. But in the lagoon, for example, well, it's not exactly in Guanacavives, it's northwest to Guanacavives. So this, but it is more common in Zapata, where if you want to really see this bird, you have to go to Zapata. You see the left one is the male, very similar to redwing, and the female is the one on the right, totally black. So it's both, they are monogamous, you know, here in US, they are polygamous. So just one male with several females, while in Cuba, they are monogamous. So you don't find in the area more female, it's just the one male with one female. So I was telling you, this is very unique. You know, in North America, is brown and streaked. The female, while in Cuba is totally black, and also sing and defend the territory as a male. So both, they like to duet while they are establishing the territory and interact, and both male and female participate in the activities, duties of the assistance of the nest to the chicks. So this is a bird that you like to see because in some way will remind you your red-winged blackbird. So if there is a equation you'll know to know about Cuban birds, please let me know about it, and I'll be pleased to answer you. And just information. For example, in Cuba we have 28 IBA and a total about 211 protected area. So you see how big is an important thing for the Cuban government, the protection of the land and the protection of the wildlife. And we, in some, we should be proud of the protection activity it's conducted in Cuba, and all the role has been taken, all the biologists for that. So please, is there any question? Let me know about it.
I'm thinking we should just unmute everybody, Arturo.
Yep, everybody is being asked to unmute. Yep.
Yep. Anybody got any good questions they would like to ask? David, do you have audio?
Yes.
Yep. Kathy, do you have any audio at all?
Yep. Fine.
Okay, good. Hey, so if you guys don't have any questions, I can ask questions all day long. So we usually get questions about, entry into Cuba, our shores, wheat eagle, and that kind of thing. I mean, Trump did change the rules for going to Cuba. We've always done our tours for humanitarian purposes. We're literally collecting ornithological data to support the research to educate the Cuban people about their natural resources. And that's actually been an approved reason even before Obama for birding in Cuba. It's just back in the day, the license was held by a few monopoly-like organizations. Now it's more widespread. And then, Trump basically said, don't deal with the Cuban government military in terms of booking things, and we don't do that at all. So all of our tours are totally legal. And then Arturo, I ask you, what are some of your favorite birding experiences in Cuba over the last, say, 2 to 3 years?
The best birding experience?
Just things that you've enjoyed that you thought were kind of fun.
Well, honestly, in every single tour I enjoy it. It's yeah, I love it.
¿Eh? You said that you don't enjoy it.
I enjoy it. Yeah, I said enjoy it. Yeah, I really enjoyed every single tour. So one probably more than the other. For example, when I see a species that is extremely rare, when there is a kind of behavior, because at the same time when I'm birding, I'm researching, taking advance of the trips. Because sometimes birders ask me, Arturo, you never get bored of being birding. And okay. And I say, no, not at all. So it is always
something new.
Something new. Okay. So what are the months for peak birding? I would say it's between November and April. That's the most important ones because the Arctic migrants are visiting Cuba. So you get the highest diversity of birds in that period.
Great.
Yeah, huh?
David, you got a question? Kathy, you got a question? And you guys are
the weather like? Well, the weather is nice. It's not so hot like it's in August. Typical day could be about 27 to 30 centigrade. So we call it our winter time, but really it's like a summer, more mild summer. So also you avoid the rainy season, because the rainy season starts in May to October. So is when the peak of mosquitoes could be, for example, in Zapata. So this that's one of the reasons we select of start birding from November to April. Voila. Okay, the meals are great. You really have the opportunity to taste the great food in Cuba. We select very good places where to go, and it's really high standard. Although the meals are along the tour. The type of transportation used is buses, big buses with about 24 seats.
It will depend on the group size.
I don't know, of course, that depends on the group size. It is about 12, 10, but it's smaller, then we'll get a smaller transportation, but always with comfort. Always will be with comfort. So,
Yes, does anybody have a question that would like something specific?
Yeah, and I just wanted to clarify that 27 to 30 degrees centigrade is about 80 to 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Because most of us are not centigrade users here in the United States. Arturo, you also had some questions about the vehicle size. So we do run groups as small as 4, and we typically run a group in the 6 to 8 person level, participant level. We always have a draw Ivor. We always have a bird guide. So you know, we always have plenty of seats, whether it's the Mercedes 80 Sprinter or the larger 20+ seat van.
Well, I just saw a question here about the cultural attraction. For example, yes, we have cultural attractions all along the tours. We stop in cities where you have the opportunity to see, enjoy the culture, go and listen to some music, go to museums. For example, in Zapata, we always take the group to see the Bay of Pigs Museum. But in Havana City, also have the opportunity to see the Museum of Art and several museums along the tour and city tours as well, where they have a tour guide that explains to everybody the Cuban architecture. Take you, for example, we take sometimes a group in different places to listen to some music. So yeah, you get a touch and get a taste of the Cuban culture along the tour. That's important, I guess. And mainly Havana City. Havana City, you really enjoy it if you go. You love Havana City. It's very unique.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you. Well, the country is very safe, very safe. No, the criminal rate is very low. I would say probably among the safest country in the world. And no problem to walk at night and to go anywhere. It's pretty safe, the country. It's not like many of the countries around the world where you feel scared probably to go to a place. Always you feel that you are safe in Cuba while you are in Cuba.
Yeah, and just a little bit more about safety in contrast to Cuba to other countries. You know, Costa Rica, for example, was sort of the first in ecotourism, and you know, pickpocketing there is a pretty common problem. And, you know, I guess Papua New Guinea is probably a tour where we have the most sort of local violence issues. Never, thank God, impacting any of our tours. But Cuba, you know, for good or for bad, I mean, because they do have a very authoritarian government, you know, people are not too keen to break the law. And so, you know, it is a, I mean, you know, the upside of that is it's a very safe country. The downside of that is, you know, they do live in a very authoritarian country, which again doesn't impact tourism that much. But it is safe, which is something. Is that a pretty good answer, Arturo?
Yes, it is. But also to visit the Americans, to visit the U.S. Sorry, to visit Cuba from U.S. It's totally legal, and that's important for many of the Americans to know about it. That it's the just have a general license for visiting Cuba that allow the American people to go there, and the custom process is all easy, no problem at all. So it's very easy and very, very kind people giving you the welcome while you are in the island.
And it's only one hop away.
Yeah, it's in the U.S. backyard.
It is a very short flight, that is for sure. We were down at the Space Coast Birding Festival, and we stopped off at a restaurant, a Cuban restaurant, and they had an old Cuba travel poster, and the buzz line was, "Cuba, it's just a hop away." Now that was from the 1950s, but it's still true. It's a very short flight. And by the way, Arturo, if you want to jump on the call and add a few things, that's fine. I mean, both Arturo and Arturo are our main two bird guides in Cuba, and both of them have a lot to add. Arturo, either one, is there any anecdotes you guys want to share from any of tours in the last 4 or 5 years that have been kind of surprising and fun?
I mean, right now, nothing really comes to mind. I don't know if you want to say any of the funny stories about Garrido on the tours. Not about Garrido.
Yeah, no, we have to be careful about Orlando too. Orlando is the co-author of The Birds of Cuba with Arturo Kirkconnell, and he is very much the 1950s gentleman. And one of my favorite Orlando stories, which I think is okay to tell, is he was besides being an ornithologist, he was a tennis pro, and during Wimbledon, which he participated in, which is pretty cool. He put like jock itch pat outer in somebody's underwear. And so he was quite a prankster. In the middle of the tournament, this guy obviously knew he had jock itch pat out in his crotch, and he had to stop the tournament for a while, for him to straighten that situation out. But we used to have tours where we had supper with Orlando, and it is something we can still arrange. It's just that he's getting older now. And there you go. But he is quite a character. And if you go back 3 to 6 years, almost every birding tour included sort of dinner with Orlando. And he's just quite a character.
Yeah, he's a historical man.
Yeah.
He is a wise man, but very funny. I have a friend that he used to say that he's with the cover of an old man, but he had inside of him a kid. So he said it was a kid with the cover of an old man, because his mentality and his way of thinking is always like keep making jokes and looking the way to have fun, and he's an amazing person. For some people, like that tennis player, I bet, if he've ever known what Orlando did, he would execute Orlando. but but probably he told the story to him when he was retired too. I don't know if he confessed.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, we hope it didn't impact the competitiveness of the
Yeah.
tournament, because that would be bad. What about Cayo Coco? I know you love the Cayo Coco area, and it's, you just explain why you love birding in Cayo Coco, because I know you love it.
Well, Cayo Coco is great. The diversity of birds there is really high. You get there about, I would say, about 14 to 15 endemics, and you can enjoy the resort there, where you have a very nice beach there, and the wildlife there is very interesting. It's nice. What is bad is every time I go there, there is more development. So for me, it's sad. I used to go there when Cayo Coco was totally virgin island. There's not any development at all. And now, every time I go, I see more and more transformation. It's huge key, but it's the development is huge too there now. So that's sad. That's sad.
And the development is impacting the key birding habitat, or
Well, it's affecting the habitat
to
there.
build up a resort? What?
It's affecting the habitat. Well, to build a hotel or an airport, you have to affect the habitat, and as well it's affecting the bird life there. And it is taking place in several keys, satellite keys around Cayo Coco as well, like Cayo Guillermo, Cayo Paredón Grande. For example, the last time I led about last year about 2 or 3 tours in the island, and it was tough to find the thick-billed vireo. And the headquarters, the most important breeding ground of the thick-billed vireo in Cuba, it was Paredón Grande. And when I went there, I was impressed, because seeing how the bulldozer had been removed the vegetation, like similar to a football field, European football field. So I said, oh my God, that area was the important where most of the birds were breeding. So now it's hard to get the thick-billed vireo. It's some scarce bird. I don't see that will recover in the way they used to be before, because also was affected a lot by the hurricane in 2016. There was a hurricane that affected a lot of the area, and most of the birds gone, like Cuban catcher, but they were recovering step by step, and suddenly started the development. So that's really affecting those population of those small keys.
Hey, Barbara, and you are unmuted. If you want to ask a question, feel free to just ask. David, anything more? Kathy, are you still out there?
No,
I know we had something called Allison's iPad on. Yeah, shoot.
That's been very useful. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciated it, Arturo.
Sure.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
A pleasure. Nice. It was very nice to be great to be with you audience.
Well, and and you did bring up the hurricane thing. On maybe the second half, maybe 2-3 years ago, we had a pretty substantive hurricane, and we were worried about not finding birds. And there were a couple of bird species that were difficult to find for a few months, but then they came back. It was hard to find the Bahama Mockingbird and something else. Was it the thick-billed vireo as well?
Yes, the Bahama Mockingbird also is declining because of the tourism development, but also because of the hurricane, as you said. It's really damaged the population. Every time we go, it's harder to find those rare birds. It's a headache sometimes to find them, mainly when you have a limited time. So it's really tough to find the thick-billed vireo and the Bahama Mockingbird. We usually get it, but sweating a lot.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions from any other participant? Either text them or call them in. I'm not seeing the text, by the way, R2. So there you go.
Yeah, I think you can, if the Barbara, your name, if Barbara have any question, please shoot it at us.
Barbara just texted me questions about hearing some music and going dancing. So that is something that we can sort out. And actually, typically at lunch, we go to a restaurant with a little bit of music and supper as well, right?
Correct.
Right. Any other questions? If not, I think we're going to wrap it up. We very much appreciate everybody participating today. Arturo, as always, I enjoyed your time, and thank you very much. We'll sign off.